As Cosmo is racing out into another room, he says, "I want that cheese!"
In the show, Timmy gifts Cosmo and Wanda to Viv and then also Roy. What is the best gift you've ever received?
I want you to meet the two best things that's ever happened to me.
Ta-da!
What are those?
We're your fairy godparents!
It might be landing the role of Cosmo on Fairly Odd Parents, although it doesn't really qualify as a gift, but it has certainly turned into an enormous part of my career and my friendships and my work. And that I have to say that's very fortunate, and it certainly feels like a gift.
It's sort of the same thing when I started, off Broadway or whatever, to actually be able to make a living as an actor is a pretty big gift. It's really I feel very fortunate in that respect.
Guava juice, birthday cake, large fries, chocolate shake.
In the new series, obviously Cosmo and Wanda are animated and they appear in the live action scenes. If your respective character could spend time in the real world for a day, what would you do together? What would be your ideal adventure together?
Go to Australia.
Yes, I think I'd like to know what it's like to sit on a plane for 14 hours.
I love that even though you're going to go to Australia together, you won't utilize any wish. You'll still do the 14-hour flight.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. I performed years ago in Adelaide, and I could never get over that there was a 15.5-hour time difference between Adelaide and New York City. I just could not, the entire 2 weeks, could not wrap my mind around that.
Is there a funny story or a moment from your own childhood that you think would make a perfect plot point in an episode of the show?
Well, I had an experience years and years ago. We lived in Bangkok for a couple of years when I was about 6. And we took a voyage to Malaysia to go to Penang. And we were on board just a steamer, or a commercial boat. There were only like us and 2 other passengers. So when we arrived in Malaysia, no one was there to greet us. And finally, they rustled up 3 motorcycles with sidecars. And my parents, for whatever reason, sent my 2 brothers and I on these motorcycles. And we had a joyride through the jungle. When we finally got to the hotel, my parents were like sweating. They were like, "Oh my God, what has happened to our children?"
I think the only thing that comes to mind was some of the utterly dangerous and really not very smart things we did as kids. There was a giant hill in the town I grew up in Northwest Washington State that was notoriously steep. And at the bottom of the hill, there was just a T, and the road went either left or right. And it was a challenge just to ride your bicycle down it. And I was going down one time, and I had kind of an old clunky bike at the time, and I hit the brakes, and I had to hit both back and front tire at the same time. And the little pads that squeeze in on the tire, I saw them go. I saw them shoot right out in front of me. So I was left only with the rear brake, and I nearly went completely off the road over into there was a whole ditch situation and a cliff and barbed wire. It would have been horrible, but yeah. I could have used a ferry right at that point, yes.
What do you think has been your strangest experience related to being Cosmo or Wanda in all your years of voicing the role?
Well, I always talk like this, so every day is an adventure.
I think probably the strangest experience is just speaking my normal speaking voice, and then someone still being able to recognize that you do the other character voice. That always sort of surprised me, because I thought, how could you hear Cosmo in this? But they can hear it. It's amazing.
How often do you think you actually use a voice to mess with people in real life.
That's part of our daily life, using different voices. And even with our friends, it's such a wonderful thing to play around with and mess around with people. And I've been asked to send messages on when they used to have answering machines, my friends' kids, for their birthdays or whatever. It's loads of fun.
What would be your favorite line in the new series?
My favorite lines so far that I recall in the new series, and I don't think I'm giving anything away by saying this, as Cosmo is racing out into another room, he says,
I want that cheese!
and I don't really know anything other than that, but apparently he's after some cheese.
That is so Cosmo. I have very few brain cells left, so I can't think of a line. But what I will say is that I love the writing in this Fairly Odd Parents, Fairly Odder. It's funny, it's tight, it's playful, it's loving in its own way.
I also thought when you said that you don't have many brain cells left, that was your favorite line, but it was just unrelated.
I'm gonna have to suggest that if we have more episodes.
Have you seen any details or Easter eggs for longtime fans that perhaps our readers should keep an eye out for?
I've already recognized a couple of references to earlier episodes and earlier seasons, so I know they're there, but I don't want to give away what they might be, but they do exist.
Viewers will be delighted by some of the references, and the writers clearly know their subject here.
How would you describe your favorite scene?
Something along the lines of,
I already did!
Oh, well, I think the typical Wanda refrain would be, "Oh, Cosmo!"
The new series, The Fairly Odd Parents, Fairly Odder! Exclusively on Paramount Plus!
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to check out more cool videos, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. K-Zone you later!